Good evening, this is the Oscar expert here with Brother Bro, and it's time for supporting actor and supporting actress predictions in our series of early-ass predictions where we're just introducing the contenders to everybody and trying to get, like, one of them right, basically. Really, that's what we're aiming for here.
Yeah, especially in the supporting categories, there's always unexpected players that pop out of nowhere.
But of course, this year, I am feeling like I'm going to get 2 in each category at minimum. We feel like this every year, but I still feel like, come on. Let's start out with supporting actress. So I honestly don't know who to have at number 1, Danielle Brooks or Lily Gladstone, because here's my thing. What kind of performer is Lily Gladstone?
Do Lily Gladstone. That's what I would say.
But she's quite subtle, isn't she? She's amazing.
No, she's not necessarily subtle. She could go do whatever she needs to do.
But alternatively, Danielle Brooks is in the musical. I mean, look at, what happens with supporting actresses in musicals. This performance is a showstopper from what I've heard. And, maybe she's going to even steal the show away from Fantasia Barrino at points. It's going to be like the louder performance, probably more tears.
Yes. Well, whenever there's a musical, there's like an actress that wins an Oscar.
In the music award world, Cynthia Erivo in the lead role was winning all the Best Actress awards. Danielle Brooks wasn't winning, actually, the awards. I don't, know anything about the competition, though, to be able to say, whatever, but
I don't know. I feel like I have more confidence that Killers of the Flower Moon's going to kill it. I just have a good feeling that Lily Gladstone actually might just be it this year. But we've had that feeling since the movie was announced. At the very least, I think when the movie comes out, she's going to be the front runner for Best Supporting Actress.
Oh, yeah.
Done. Hands down. It's going to be as long as she has the screen time, and I think she will.
Screen time in the 4-hour movie, Scorsese is actually in his slow burn era. Silence, The Irishman, and I actually do wonder, especially with the whole Cannes premiere, if maybe this actually is a movie that will leave some cold.
I don't think it matters for the actress necessarily, though.
Well, I think that if Danielle Brooks is giving the more traditionally Beatty performance and Lily Gladstone is the critic's favorite, what happened to Cody Smith-McPhee in Power of the Dog? What happened to him?
I mean, Danielle Brooks, hey, listen. That performance, when I saw the movie, I was like, that's not getting nominated.
Okay, that's fair.
Cody Smith-McPhee was very subtle.
But also in the supporting categories, what's been the thing that people say that gets you to win? That's happened with Troy Kotsur, Ke Huy Quan, Ariana DeBose even. That's the performance that makes you cry. Right? That's usually what it is. The performance that makes you cry.
What if she's just bone chilling?
No, Lily Gladstone made me cry in certain women. It's happened. She's already done it. So I guess you could say that, but I think Danielle Brooks is also going to make people cry. I watched a clip of her on stage, and she's doing it all.
That's why The Color Purple in a way feels OP to me, because you're bringing a musical onto the screen, and people are just going to be singing and crying at the same time is kind of OP. It's kind of OP.
Yes.
I mean, think about Anne Hathaway in Les Mis. She didn't even have a lot of screen time. Also remember Jennifer Hudson in Cats. I don't know why I'm saying
a movie.
It's not relevant. What I just said is not relevant. I just want us to remember that. I'm excited about Lily Gladstone too because
I'm pumped for Lily Gladstone.
Yeah.
Taraji P. Henson in The Color Purple. The reason she's not higher than Danielle Brooks is because I don't think she's going to be higher than Danielle Brooks. I know that Taraji P. Henson is previously nominated, a little bit more well-known of a name in the world of the Academy. I do think that will help her have a double nomination for this movie, potentially.
Well, she was also in Hidden Figures, the lead role. So.
Yeah, it's also a big showy role. And The Color Purple from 1985 got 2 actors nominated. This role doesn't get people nominated for the play, it seems as much as Danielle Brooks' role. Danielle Brooks' role, I think, is more likely to win. But I think easily you could go for both of them. At number 4, I guess I'm going to go with Julianne Moore for May December. How do you feel about May December now that it's been announced for the competition lineup at Cannes?
Well, I look at the competition lineup for Cannes and I say, decent bet that one of them is a Best Picture nominee.
Past 2 years, it's been true.
I mean, I feel optimistic that May December gets acting nominations. I'll say that.
Wonderstruck did also compete for the Palm. And that was not considered.
Wonderstruck was just different, though. That's a
I mean, the cast and everything was not as stacked as May December.
No, I don't think May December is going to be an actor's movie.
Yeah, I almost think that this might be in my top 10 at this point.
Yes.
Seeing that Cannes announcement was nice. Basically, the strategy here is not necessarily to be oh, I'm going to predict Jodie Comer for The Bike Riders because where's her nomination? She needs a nomination. Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer. We need to get her nominated. I think by going off the actor alone is not good enough a reason to put it in the 5. I think you really need to look at like the role too. That's more important to me. And if the movie's in Best Picture, Viola Davis and Air, because we actually do believe in Air for Best Picture, don't we?
Yeah, that's actually hard to leave out of the 5.
And at this point in the year, if you have somebody who you know is going to be somewhat of a contender in a movie that very well may be in Best Picture, you should probably put them in.
I think some people are still a little hesitant on Air. Like they think it's like they're number 10. Maybe they'll squeeze it in at number 10, but I just think it's the kind of thing, maybe a little bit like Elvis, where you're like squeezing it in saying like, oh, like it's probably going to get like shoved out. But when the end of the year comes around, there's not going to be that many movies that hit quite like Air did for some people, I guess. For people looking for this kind of movie, like this is it. This is just what they wanted.
People got really fucking excited about Air.
Yeah.
People got really excited about it.
And we know from just the excitement alone that Amazon's going to campaign this. Amazon's going to want some trophies for Air. The Oscar buzz is in the air for Air.
It already made more money than like half of last year's nominees.
And you know what? It actually still matters, I think, how it does on streaming. Like
it actually doesn't matter. It matters how... remember Coda. It matters how the streamer campaigns it right at the last minute.
And I think it's kind of a... I hate this. I hate this so much. It's kind of a layup. I'm so sorry. For Amazon to campaign this at the end of the year. Like, I think it's going to work on some people really well.
I could see Air doing stupidly well at the SAG Awards. Like, 3 fucking nominations.
I could also see us going, remember Air?
Oh yeah,
remember Air?
Yeah, remember how
and then like it just no nominations in the day. But you know what? I think it's a better bet than not at this point.
Yeah,
just in general to bet on the movie.
But do you really think that there could be a world where she doesn't go along with it? Is my question.
I don't
the movie
know.
just gets like screenplay picture.
Listen. If the movie's really popular, if it's like, and I could see this happening, if it's one of people's favorites and they're like really loving it, then I think Viola Davis just gets it.
Although she nailed certain parts of the movie, she was responsible for some of the best moments in the movie. I didn't feel like I need to honor her at the end of the year for that.
It's not a bad point that you're saying.
But also I felt like that about the whole movie, and other people don't seem to agree with me.
I could see Air getting in without her, I guess. Kind of like Marlee Matlin and Coda.
Yeah, but they had another actor coming along. Weird shit could happen though, where like Ben Affleck gets nominated and she like the weird shit could happen. You never know. But she'll get SAG probably.
Yeah.
And she'll probably get Golden Globe.
Yeah. It's almost like I feel
and
that
Critics'
she's
Choice
being set up for disappointment in the same exact way as
the Woman King we know wasn't in Best Picture. That's why she got nominated. And if Air's not in Best Picture, Viola Davis is not getting nominated.
No. I think you have a great case for Divine Joy Randolph, but I still think you gotta go with something that you think's gonna get nominated. Like
I guess so. Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers. If this movie's in pictures, she's gonna go along with it. That's all I'm gonna say. The movie's about people like gathering together on Christmas and learning that their differences aren't that different. I think critics will like it because it's Alexander Payne, but also I don't think they're gonna be head over heels for it in the same way they were for his last few movies that doesn't include Downsizing. But I think this could be an audience hit, and I think people might be like, warm, nice movie about people getting together. She's gonna be good. She's gonna like cry and stuff.
You know she's gonna cry.
So when someone in the character's family died in the Vietnam War.
Okay. I'm glad I asked that question because now I'm more convinced. We're definitely going with like the movies we think are big Best Picture contenders.
Yeah, Rosamund Pike in Saltburn.
She seems like she'll be really good.
Yes. The early test screening reaction said she had some great lines and that Carey Mulligan also had some scene-stealing scenes. So I don't even know if maybe it's her or Carey Mulligan. I think it's probably Rosamund Pike. I feel like she is also like people would like to bring her back into the conversation. There's a good case for it. I just don't like 100% believe in the movie, I guess. Like I believe it'll be something, but it might be like the Barry Keoghan show, honestly. I think most people probably have Rosamund Pike around like their 5, so it's reasonable. Lashana Lynch for the Bob Marley biopic. There are plenty of biopics where like every other role is just like not really much, but you know, King Richard was not one of those, the same director. If Lashana Lynch has any sort of like Ingenue Ellis-esque scene-stealing part, then there you go. And Lashana Lynch was a scene stealer in The Woman King.
I have 4 words for you. Martin Luther King's wife. People are predicting the wife of Martin Luther King will be nominated for Selma for like the whole year, and then the movie comes out and it's like she's so supporting that she's like not, her role wasn't really a standout.
Yeah.
And I feel like we are kind of getting tired of like the wife to the brilliant person role. Then again, you know, King Richard, I feel like the director did prove himself to be very reliable with churning out some great performances.
9, Tilda Swinton for The Killer. You want to know a fun fact? When's the last David Fincher movie that didn't get an actor nominated?
Zodiac?
That's right.
No way.
It's Zodiac.
No way.
Yeah, think about it. Benjamin Button, The Social Network, Dragon Tattoo, Gone Girl,
Dragon
Mank.
Tattoo, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Well,
She's
Cole,
not-
it's Tilda Swinton or Michael Fassbender, and I really don't think it's going to be Michael Fassbender.
Yeah, I know. Tilda Swinton's just a gift to us all, so I'm sure it'll be like really delicious. And you know, I guess there is a world where like the Oscars don't embrace the movie as a whole and they still embrace her. Like that could happen.
Or it could be Fincher's first movie to not get Oscar nominations in a long time.
That's fair. And look what happened with Bardo last year. We were like, all of his movies get acting noms, all of his movies get nominated for stuff. I mean, I guess it got one nomination, but yeah. Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer. I'm like concerned about the fact that she was not featured in the trailer, like at all.
Yeah.
I think at all, right? Not even a little bit.
I think people are a little too quick to jump at like, oh, Oppenheimer has a huge supporting cast. Someone could get nominated. Well, what if most of them barely have a role? And that's kind of how I feel.
Robert Downey Jr. is not going to get nominated for supporting actor.
You know how Christopher Nolan puts Matt Damon in his movies? You know, they're big names. They're just in the movie because they just want to work with Christopher Nolan for like a scene. So we don't have anything to suggest that anyone else besides Cillian Murphy is going to be a huge player. But I absolutely think if anybody is going to be, it's going to be Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt has 3 SAG nominations, 2 BAFTA nominations, and like 6 Golden Globe nominations. So it's actually really weird that she has not gotten an Oscar nomination yet. She's like quite overdue in a sense. This is a role that you could look at and say, well, here you go. This is an Oscar vehicle, Emily Blunt. It's your time. Let's go.
Yeah,
but then again, you know,
that's
you just
not how
don't
it
know.
works.
Yeah, I know that's not how it works. That's why she's
The movie has got to come first.
Jodie Foster and Nyad.
Jodie Foster is playing the coach of Annette Bening. We know that coaches can be meaty roles. I think it's like a sort of like coach best friend kind of role. You know, maybe the coach is a little more than a coach. Jodie Foster is good. Like, she's still good and stuff, and people seem to be really excited about like what she's doing in her career right now. So I think this could be something that gets hype from Nyad. And I think the role's pretty big, so that's like a solid maybe. Carey Mulligan from Saltburn, kind of already mentioned that. Erin Kellyman for Blitz. You know, this is like the only supporting actress role as far as I know. Don't know much about it, but you know, Steve McQueen, very good performances in all his movies. Penelope Cruz in Ferrari. I guess she's like the wife of Enzo Ferrari or something. Penelope Cruz. She gets nominated a lot. Ferrari could be something though. I mean, if it is, then again, I don't always buy like the wife of X. This almost seems like it's a movie for the boys. It's got cars and shit. Claire Foy for Strangers. She's gonna be good. Strangers is gonna be good. Strangers gonna be a masterpiece is really like what it needs to be to get in the Oscar conversation considering the director. I think it's gonna be a very well acted movie, and it seems like the roles, there's a lot there because she's playing like the mother of this main character. Claire Foy, you know, First Man, Women Talking, didn't get it both times around. You know, she probably got excited and she was like, oh, it's gonna happen, I'm gonna get nominated, and everyone's putting her at number 1, and then boom, she doesn't get anything. Vanessa Kirby for Napoleon. Some say maybe she's lead. I think she's probably supporting, but you know what? I think it might be Midley Scott. I think we might be in for Midley Scott. And you know, Midley Scott comes around every once in a while. Early word on like some of the screenings is like maybe this is like more Miss territory, or it's just like alright. I don't think it's gonna get a ton of nominations. Jodie Comer for The Bike Riders. I think The Bike Riders will most likely end up being like all of Jeff Nichols' other movies and not really getting a ton of nominations. This is one of those things where you're kind of like, oh, Jodie Comer, good actress in a lot of stuff, never been nominated, let's see it, I want to see it, but then it's just like, it just doesn't really do anything. Yeah. Kaimana, Next Goal Wins. Next Goal Wins keeps pushing their release date back further and further towards Oscar season. Now it's in November. Some people still believe in it. What if after all this time it actually does get nominated because it's just like a very nice crowd pleaser? I don't know, the word has been that it's good or like okay, but not like Taika Waititi's best. Anne Hathaway and Eileen, what do you think about that? I mean, I think the movie's too fucking weird for Oscars. Yeah. I just don't think it's way too weird. The performance is somewhat like an Oscar type of performance, and she has like enough scenes. I think it like kind of makes sense in a way. She's basically but it's playing Carol in Carol. Yeah, it's just in a movie that is not going to be palatable to many people, or at least you know maybe they think it's palatable, and then all of a sudden it isn't. Andrea Riseborough in Lee would be kind of strange if she went back to the Oscars again after the surprise. I don't even know what she's doing in Lee. No one knows what she's doing in Lee. Anna Diop in The Book of Clarence. A lot of people have Alfre Woodard. You know, you could kind of pick whoever you want, really. Even Teyana Taylor is in this film. Anna Diop, I think, was highest billed or something. So maybe she's actually, like, you know, the biggest character. There could be a really good supporting actress role in The Book of Clarence because James Samuel did give a lot of attention to the women in a film that was a Western, which is not usual, which is not typical. Regina King and Daniel Deadwyler were really good in that movie. But it could be another case where everybody's really good in the movie, and then no one like gets, you know, singled out.
Mary J. Blige and Rob Peace. This is a movie that Chiwetel Ejiofor is directing. Ingenue Ellis and the Nickel Boys. My sense is that maybe she won't have like a ton of screen time because she's not playing a role where people who read the book are like, oh, she's playing this role. Like, that means that she's going to be like all these scenes in this part. Like, it's just like that she's in it. And so people are like, oh, maybe. Cate Blanchett for The New Boy. I will see it Cannes. It's going to Cannes. She's playing like a nun in this movie. She might not have that much screen time, but like, of course, they're going to use like an image. The first look image is going to be of her because she's Cate Blanchett. She's a producer on the movie too. I feel like it's not going to be the Cate Blanchett show, you know? I have no clue what her screen time's going to look like.
Yeah, I agree.
Margaret Qualley for Poor Things. She seems like she's like fifth build, so I'm kind of not anticipating that she's going to have like the biggest role, but she's having a good year. She's got the Ethan Coen movie. She's got Sanctuary. Helena Bonham Carter in One Life. I don't know, maybe. Merv Dizar for About Dry Grasses. That is just a wild guess. That's all that is. It's just a wild guess. Rebecca Ferguson for Dune Part 2. She was good in the first. She didn't get nominated in the first. And at the very bottom, Patti LuPone for Beau is Afraid.
Just because she
Beau is Afraid is getting goose egg. I would bet so much money on that.
Nobody thinks it's gonna get anything.
Okay, fine, yeah. Supporting actor. Are we am I gonna do Ryan Gosling and Barbie? Am I actually gonna do that?
You should.
So I considered, you know, all the other things. I considered Jesse Plemons and Willem Dafoe and everything. Like, I considered these people. Given what we know right now, Ryan Gosling is said to be the acting standout of Barbie, and also that it's like his best performance. Like, his best performance is what people say. He's such a Steven Stealer, so funny.
Yeah, he's making people laugh.
When you have a performance that some people say is like, okay, this will get Oscar attention, sometimes that's just enough to win.
I think he could very well win.
I have no delusions that Barbie is like guaranteed to be a major Oscar contender. Like, it might just completely fall off.
I could also see him doing well with critics groups, like getting awards, and then people switching.
John Majaro for Past Lives. Since we've seen the performance and we believe in the movie, I think he will get in. And also just judging it based on the praise that he is getting. Every review singles him out. Some people may feel that he's a standout of the whole movie too. He's got enough scenes where he's just really good. I think he's just going to go along with the movie. It's easy when you have 5 slots to just put in somebody who's going to be in a big contender and is very good in it. That's all you can say.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to win because it's just not that kind of performance. In an earlier video, I was saying how, everybody always predicts Willem Dafoe and they just think he's going to get nominated and then his role isn't happening and they always put him at number 1. Like, I was considering putting him at number 1. And this is more of a recent development. Like, a month ago, I was like, I think he's going to, be the Dr. Frankenstein type of character. He creates her and then he gets out. But the more I've read about the book, he is the 3rd biggest character in the whole thing behind Rami Youssef and Emma Stone. Rami Youssef maybe is lead. If he's supporting, then maybe we can talk about them competing. But even if they were competing, lately, who is getting in when there's 2 heads going at it? The one that's like more well respected and established. We've actually seen this as a pattern lately, I would say. Judd Hirsch getting in over Paul Dano, Judi Dench over Katrina Balfe, of course, and Jamie Lee Curtis. Stephanie Hsu got in, but Jamie Lee Curtis was ahead of her. Even if there was competition in Poor Things, and, we had to nominate somebody, I think it would be Dafoe. And Dafoe has a big role. It's actually not like some Nightmare Alley shit where
I feel like this could be very good for him. If the movie's in, I think he would go along based on what we know about the character.
We know that it's probably going to be at Venice, not Cannes now. Some people think it's too weird. Honestly, from what I've read, like, it really doesn't seem any weirder than like a Guillermo del Toro movie. I just look at it and I'm like, text, acting, super well made, critically. I just see all these things going for it. Jesse Plemons for Killers of the Flower Moon. Maybe he could win because I think he's going to have a huge role. Like, massive screen time. Honestly, maybe this could be like one of the most screen time that anybody's had in a supporting role given the length of this movie. Will he win? The type of performer that he is, I don't think he's going to be giving the showiest performance in the movie. But I think there's a very good chance that he'll get another nomination for this one. And then we have Robert De Niro for Killers of the Flower Moon. Robert De Niro is listed as 4th build on the movie database, which I thought, that checks out from everything that I've read about who the prominent characters in the original story and the book are. And then there was like one screening that happened, like 2 people who worked at Apple TV, and one of them said, oh yeah, DiCaprio, Plemons, Gladstone, they're all getting nominated, didn't mention De Niro. There was also like another thing that I read last year about how maybe De Niro is actually not in it as much as we think. And then there's like this other guy saying that someone he knows has seen the movie and De Niro's the lead.
That sounds like bullshit, though. You heard 3 things,
But that was from last year,
and 2
I
of
guess.
which contradict the 3rd thing. So like someone's.
Well, no,
lying,
I think I'm
someone...
gonna take the other opinions, and that makes more sense with everything I've heard as a whole. But maybe Robert De Niro does have enough screen time to get in. He is playing a very despicable person, so he could be like a good villain in a way. Brian Tyree Henry and Flint Strong, he's playing the coach, the boxing coach. This role was actually originally supposed to be Ice Cube. Causeway, that was not a role that most people would have played and gotten nominated for.
Yep.
That got nominated because he was like extra good in it. And so he's on the radar now too. Charles Melton for May December. I think we gotta like start considering him like really seriously actually. This is a movie from what I've read that has like 3 central performances and he is one of them. It's Julianne Moore, Natalie Portman, and him. He's gonna be really good. Maybe he's like the Diego Calva, I guess. I know Babylon didn't happen for like anybody, but I guess there was like a universe where like Margot Robbie and Brad Pitt get in and then Diego Calva doesn't. Maybe that's like sort of what it is. Stephen Graham for Blitz. I do not know anything about the role, but Stephen Graham, BAFTA nominated actor, seems like he could be very good in this. Mark Ruffalo for Poor Things.
You had that way higher at some
Yeah,
point.
I moved it down. He's the 4th biggest character in the movie. And I kind of went with the double nomination being for Killers of the Flower Moon. Mark Ruffalo's character does seem to enter the movie and become like pretty big. And he's going to have like his scenes. But I guess it was harder in my head for me to imagine like he's being like a super duper standout.
I think he could be, though. I don't think that's...
Yeah, he could be. Jeremy Pope in the collaboration. Sort of 2 Popes-esque thing. I also think that that's not just going to be like absolutely nothing. Because Jeremy Pope and Paul Bettany are going to be very good in it. They have been good in the play. You can watch clips of them like acting on YouTube and doing the same exact thing they're going to do in the movie. 11 is Ben Affleck for Air. It's not impossible.
It's like a little too weird where I don't think I can actually do it. But part of me wants to like call something really weird because I didn't see Jamie Lee Curtis coming last year. I kind of could see him getting hype in a weird way for this movie.
I also feel like this would happen because he's not getting hype for director and everybody just kind of doesn't really care to nominate him in director and they're like, well, maybe we'll just give him a supporting actor nomination.
He's like funny in the movie and that's kind of all I think about it. Like he's good in it. Everybody's good in it though. I don't really think he's like a particular standout.
But in the post Jamie Lee Curtis winning world, you kind of got to consider these things because Ben Affleck does have a lot of goodwill for him.
Can't get nominated for director for this. No way.
He could just campaign well and people would be like, yeah, I would like to nominate Ben Affleck for
that's the thing is like the campaign's going to be all Matt Damon and Ben Affleck.
Jeremy Allen White for The Iron Claw. This is one of those things where like somebody's getting a lot of hype in the world of TV and people are like, oh, maybe the Oscars are going to see that and they watch The Bear and now they're going to nominate him here. People thought that about like Gene Smart for Babylon too. I feel like when people in the beginning of the year say, oh, there's this actor who's like thriving in TV, maybe the Oscars will like pull them in. It usually like just doesn't seem to happen. He might be great in the movie. The movie's probably gonna have a lot of really good performances. I'm sure he'll be one of them. It also could be a little bit too much of a slow burn for the Oscars. Paul Mescal for Strangers. You could also put Jamie Bell in here, like just as well if you wanted to. Like, I don't know who's going to be more of a standout. Paul Mescal is playing the main character's neighbor who he's in a relationship with. And Jamie Bell is playing main character's father, who he encounters in like a supernatural way at the same age as him. Jason Bateman for Air. There are a lot of supporting acting performances in Air, and I feel like critics are going to be kind of like trying to call different people, and like one of them is going to nominate Chris Messina. Jason Bateman had an Oscar-y moment in Air, where he was like, my wife and my kids, and you don't understand.
He's still like very natural and not that big in it though. I hate to say it, but Ben Affleck has a goofier hair, and to me that matters.
He has Bradley Cooper and American Hustle hair.
Yeah.
Jason Bateman, I thought maybe if it were up to me, like I would maybe nominate him over everybody else. Coleman Domingo for The Color Purple. I do think this is more going to be about like the actresses, and also Coleman Domingo's more likely Oscar vehicle is Rustin, so I don't think it's going to be like urgent to get him nominated here, although he might be very good. Austin Butler for The Bike Riders. Kind of the same with Jodie Comer. It's like, yeah, sure, like you could if you want to, but like I'm not really sure. Jacob Elordi for Saltburn. He's playing like the new friend of Barry Keoghan's character, who Barry Keoghan's like jealous of. Probably like the more high status kid at school.
I just don't believe someone's gonna come off of The Kissing Booth and get nominated.
He's in Euphoria and people like him a lot for that, so you could just say he's in Euphoria and we just forget The Kissing Booth. You don't know that Joey King's not gonna get nominated for Best Actress one day. You just don't know that. And Jacob Elordi again for Priscilla. He's on the list twice. Because he's playing Elvis. You know, we
No.
just had that, kind of. All I'm saying is, like, I can't say...
I
definitely
cannot
not.
see this, no. I feel like Sofia Coppola's movie is not going to really glorify Elvis in the same way, and it's just not really going to be about Elvis.
Josh O'Connor for challengers. I think Mike Feist might be the lead, so I'm putting Josh O'Connor here. What if he gets hyped for the Alice Rohrwacher movie? That's I Can. Pedro Pascal for Drive Away Dolls. It was like just announced that he's going to be in this. This movie is described as a caper comedy. It seems like it could be the goofier side of the Coen brothers / the Coen brother. Pedro Pascal and the other men in the movie seem like they are playing the goofy, incompetent crime villains who are like trying to get like their briefcase of money back or something like that. I think that there's going to be a couple acting standouts in the movie. And, you know, thinking about it, you're like, yeah, it still is a Coen brother movie. Like, there's going to be good performances. Maybe he's the one.
They're going to be so goofy, though. It's like saying someone in Hell Caesar gets in.
Jonathan Pryce in One Life. I don't know. Sure. Joel Edgerton, Boys in the Boat.
No.
I don't know. Sure.
Fuck it.
And those are the supporting actor and actress predictions. Lord only knows how accurate we'll really be with these.
Probably pretty inaccurate.
But it's really about having fun making the predictions, and we're having fun. Everyone's having a great time. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing.
Who did you support today?